Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Who are these people?
Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Don't be rude.
Who are these people?
All right, who are these people? Make sure my mic is good. Yep. Welcome. Another episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. Wow, 2 weeks in a row we've done a show. That's weird.
Oh my.
Usually
but we won't have Alex again this week.
No, unfortunately, he's in Chicago. In fact, I said he was on vacation yesterday, which I was wrong. He's there for his sister's graduation from med school, I think. So it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Congratulations to her. I mean, medical school, it's expensive, dude.
Yeah, so she's graduating from med school. Congratulations. That's a big deal. Shit. I mean, it's great to hear. Hopefully she'll be a good doctor there in the Chicago
hopefully
area.
She will help poor people.
Yeah. So that's why Alex won't be here this week. He'll hopefully be back next week. And because he did tell us how he got stuck at the airport overnight. I'm not sure you saw what he said there, but in the chats, but he he slept in the airport. Before going to Chicago, he slept at the airport. So it was like because his flight was canceled. Of course, flying. Good luck. I mean, you might spend the night in the airport if you're flying.
Yeah, that's why I don't fly.
They'll cancel your flight right out from under you. You're there, you're waiting, and the flight's canceled. So they'll reschedule you, or they overbook you. So they don't expect people to show up, and they all show up. So, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to take a later flight, like 3 hours later. Oh, by the way, we canceled that flight too, so you got to spend the night at the airport until 6 a.m. when the next flight happens. So, yeah, so
I'm glad I don't fly, y'all.
Terrible.
I just, I'll keep my feet on the ground. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's what's going on there. That's why Mr. Alex won't be here to do clips. I assume next week is the 20th. I think Night of Champions is the 27th. So
is King of the Ring the 20th?
No. King of the Ring is taking place during Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. So they're not calling it King of the Ring anymore. They're calling it Night of Champions, and then the tournament takes place, or the finals actually takes place during that. So
okay.
Yes, so the King of the Ring is such a such a afterthought that they don't even call their pay-per-view the King of the Ring anymore. So it's so they're going to Saudi on the 27th, which is 2 weeks from now. That show starts at 1 o'clock, I think, or noon, something like that. So that's what we got to look forward to at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock start time.
I guess.
So the last pay-per-view was in Europe. So again, as a 2 o'clock start time. This one is probably at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock start time. So let's see. So yeah.
Fun times.
Let's see. We're gonna start off with
what?
We're gonna start off with Vince McMahon and Jenel Grant thing. I have a couple of X posts here. They're mostly from Brandon Thurston, which is he's the one that's covering this for the most part.
He's doing a great job. And I was listening to Cornette talk about this. Stephanie knew. Trust me, Stephanie knew what was going on.
Yeah, so yeah, that's good enough. WWE, Jenel Grant, Vince McMahon, and WWE jointly asked the court to move their sex trafficking lawsuit into private arbitration. Pending approval from the court, sex trafficking lawsuit against McMahon and WWE will likely soon move out of the public. So that's the motion. Jenel Grant, plaintiff versus World Wrestling Entertainment Inc., NKA World Wrestling Entertainment LLC, and Vincent K. McMahon. Or Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So this is a joint motion for adjournment. In other words, all the plaintiffs, all the parties are filing a motion to the judge in order for the judge allow them to go to private arbitration. And like I said last night during Angel and Friends, judges love it when defendant and litigants say arbitration because they'll do that immediately and get rid of the lawsuit because they don't want to deal with it. They have so many cases on their docket. They don't want to deal with this. So it's like, oh, yeah, of course. Let's go to arbitration. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. So take notice that the parties respectively submit this joint motion for a short adjournment of the upcoming hearing on defendant's motion to compel arbitration and plaintiff's renewed motion to leave to serve motion-related discovery, which is scheduled for June 16, 2026, which is, I think, Tuesday. Yeah. The parties are active discussions regarding a potential agreement to arbitrate the dispute in confidential arbitration that would moot these motions. They seek this relief in good faith to avoid unnecessary consuming the courts and parties' resources so they can focus on progressing the potential arbitration agreement. Parties respectively propose that the court temporarily adjourn the hearing to allow them to file a joint status report within 21 days. So that's what the motion is. Basically, that's a bunch of legalese. What it is all parties, including Jenel Grant, asking the court to allow them to go to arbitration and to file the status in 21 days with the judge to see what's going on with that. So with the arbitration.
Well, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I mean, this is the point of where we knew this was going to happen again because it just seems like all the investigations into Vince went away as soon as Trump became president because they are buddies. They used to hang out together. I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Let's see. The defendants and McMahon and WWE had long pushed to move the case into arbitration, citing the arbitration clause in the non-disclosure agreement Grant signed with McMahon in 2022. So this is classic rich person thing. So the NDAs usually have an arbitration clause, which means that they can't actually get sued in court. They have to go to arbitration. Right. So, and the arbitrator usually benefits the rich benefactor or the rich guy that created the NDA. So, right. So they avoid a massive lawsuit with legal fees and attorney's fees and stuff like that, and they go to arbitration, which usually benefits the wealthier person. So, and this is
again, I told you so. I told you so.
This is what rich people do.
Yeah.
Apparently, Tony Khan every time he goes out, he has a briefcase full of NDAs. They makes everybody sign before he even speaks to them. So it's like, and that's taking it to the extreme. But
Well, because rich people don't like to be sued, and this is why.
mm-hmm. So another update. Judge
Here we go again.
Sarah F. Russell, the judge, today granted the party's motion. The judge required them to file a joint status report by July 10th, which would be the 21 days. If they haven't reached an agreement by that date, they'll have a hearing in August. So she's granting the order, of course. The court cancels the motion hearing scheduled for June 16, 2026. The parties shall file a joint status report on or before July 10, 2026. If the parties do not reach an agreement by that time, the parties shall state their availability for a motion hearing during August 2026, signed by Judge Sarah F. Russell on June 12, 2026, and entered into the record June 12, 2026. So basically, yeah, the judge is agreeing to these terms of all the parties, not just McMahon. I interpret agreement here as referring to the conditions of moving to arbitration, which is what it is. Not necessarily a settlement of the entire Grant v. WWE and Vince McMahon dispute itself. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I'm glad.
You know they're gonna side with Vince. That's why, and all. It always happens this way. You know, like I said, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. This just goes back to the fundamental practice of the rich get away with everything and the poor get away with nothing. But she wasn't exactly poor. I mean, she was not living on the streets. No, she was a gold digging cunt who literally wanted to take advantage of. I'm not saying Vince is innocent in this. No, of course not. They wanted to take advantage of each other, and Vince won. He has more money. So, she's going to learn that you better watch out who you gold dig with, because it might come back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah. So there's also another lawsuit pending that McMahon has to deal with, which has not gotten much play compared to the Jenel Grant suit, which is the case of John Doe 1 versus World Wrestling Entertainment, Vince McMahon, and Linda McMahon. John Doe 1 is the plaintiffs in the Ring Boy lawsuit, which is still pending.
Well, there's the other lawsuit where Nick Khan and Vince supposedly destroyed evidence, and now it's in court. It's going to believe that all that stuff is true because they tampered with evidence. And that was the TKO sale of WWE.
Yes.
TKO.
This is when TKO's McMahon sold WWE to TKO. These are investors, WWE investors that sued McMahon in WWE and TKO because they thought they could have got more money from the Saudis. So the only reason why Vince sold to TKO because Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro agreed to let McMahon control WWE. That's why he sold to them, not because it was the best offer that he can get, which it wasn't. So that's why they're suing him. Apparently, they have evidence that Nick Khan and McMahon destroyed records during that period, which is illegal.
Yes. Yeah, which is illegal.
Yeah, which is why they're filing a motion for relief from the court, which relief usually means money. So,
right.
Because I'm going to jail over this. So
no, of course not, because Vince is best friends with Trump, and Trump made all his legal stuff go away. We don't hear of it anymore because they threw it out of court. That investigation they were doing with Jenel Grant mysteriously disappeared. I wonder why.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. The rich people will get everything and the poor people will get nothing.
Thank you, CBC. Let's see.
I didn't see that. I guess my chat's not working.
Yeah, that was there before the show started. So I just wanted to. This is the actual lawsuit. I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's like 52 pages long.
Holy shit!
I could make a separate video and actually read through it, but I'm not. I don't know if I'm going to do that yet. So this is the part that's the most important, I think. Is there any way to make this bigger? It might be.
If you hit the arrow next to I was gonna say, or you can hit the arrow next to the 100.
Yeah, I just use a control in my mouse, so
you can do that too.
Yeah. Introduction. All right. This case. And so this is the actual. This is John Doe 1 et al., which means.
So this is the Ring Boy scandal.
Yeah. This is
Okay.
John Doe 1 et al. When you see et al. In a lawsuit, that means there's a bunch of other plaintiffs, but they're not going to write it all out because. And it says World Wrestling Entertainment LLC et al., which is all the other defendants, which is Vince and Linda, and there's a few other defendants too. I think TKO is also a defendant in this lawsuit.
I mean, really? I mean, because the one defendant is, oh God, I can't think of his name now. A black guy that they fired and then they rehired him.
Oh, he's dead. He can't.
Yeah, he's dead. So how are they going to get money from him? He's dead. His problems are over.
I've been trying to think of his name all week. The black ring announcer that
Phil
definitely
something.
assaulted kids.
Something?
Yeah, Mel. I thought it was Mel Brooks.
Mel Phillips?
It's not Mel Brooks.
No.
Mel Phillips. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought
Mel
it was Mel
Phillips.
Brooks. I was like, wait, it can't be Mel.
I was
Brooks.
like Phil something.
Yeah, it's Mel Phillips. Yeah. So this is the introduction. We all know this. This case concerns allegation of egregious sexual abuse of children. Motions to dismiss are pending. That's the motion there. Mostly the motions will not be granted, and that's because the plaintiffs have plausibly pled that the adults around them, including Vincent and Linda McMahon, had relevant knowledge at relevant times, and that they could and should have taken action to prevent the abuse and harm that ensured.
See, this is why I say I would not be surprised if Vince's name was on the Epstein files. I really would not be surprised. Or Linda too.
Let's see. Not all plaintiffs' claims survive this first stage of the case, but to the majority that do, the next question is whether there's evidence to sustain the various allegations and accusations. That, of course, remains to be seen. For now, the plaintiff's pleadings and the surviving claims warrant the case proceeding to the investigative or discovery phase. So this is the part, the discovery, where they get all the WWE records and records from TKO and records from Vince and Linda from that time. So this is.
I don't know how they could get records from TKO because TKO wasn't even thought of yet when this happened.
Well, TKO owns WWE, so that's why they're involved. That's why they're a defendant, even though they didn't own the company at the time. But they still do. They do now, so they're a defendant.
That doesn't make any sense, but please proceed.
well, when you buy a company, you pick up all their debts and you pick up all their lawsuits. That's how it works.
I see. I think they're making that. Oh shit! Maybe we shouldn't have bought this.
I think they're having second thoughts about purchasing of WWE because they're already kind of interfering in all the booking, and we can talk about that a little bit later. They're interfering all the booking, and it seems like they're angling for a sale because they fired a bunch of wrestlers to save money, and they don't want all these bloated salaries on the books while they're trying to sell it. So they don't. I tend to think they're going to sell it to the Saudis, and the Saudis going to let Vince run it. So Vince will be back a year to 18 months from now. He'll be back in charge of WWE. But
and he'll get that hero's reward. Everyone will be popping for him. Oh, Vince, we missed you. Tell TKO to go fuck themselves, please.
Yeah. Everybody will pop for Vince because he's like the hero again. He's the good guy. He's coming in to book a better product. And within a year or two, people realize, oh, this is why we hated McMahon. The booking is shit.
Yeah.
So,
here we go. Right?
Plaintiffs are 8 John Does because since they were minors, they don't have to reveal their names. So plaintiffs are 8 John Does who allege that they were sexually abused as children while working as quote unquote ring boys, assisting with errands and other tasks for wrestling events held by defendant World Wrestling Entertainment LLC. Plaintiffs allege that they were abused primarily by Mel Phillips, a ringside announcer for the WWF.
Who's dead? WWE. His problems are over.
I said WWF. WWE at and after WWE.
Well, it was WWF at the time.
Yeah.
When this happened, it was WWF, but yeah, they changed it.
Yeah. Including Maryland, mostly in the 1980s. Having lured them with access to WWE wrestlers and front row seats at WWE events. I don't know why I keep trying to say WWF. Phillips groomed and used the plaintiffs as young as 11 or 12 years old to satisfy his pedophilia and his foot fetish. Ugh. We all know that because Linda McMahon defended it, saying that, oh, he just likes feet. It's not a big deal. And then that's what Linda McMahon said. So,
And I don't remember who it was, but I saw an interview on titlematch.com. I think it was Ernie Ladd or one of them had said, yeah, I saw him giving fellatio to a 10-year-old. I went, are you in the backseat of a fucking car? He was doing it in the backseat of a car. And the guy did nothing.
There was either Ernie Ladd. Ernie Ladd said that. Bruno also said that. Bruno Sammartino. And I think Superstar Billy Graham also made that claim. So there were 3 different people who saw him abusing these boys. And of course, they all went to Vince. And Vince was like this, it's like, I'm not going to fire him.
Oh, well, what do you want me to do? Well, first of all, put him in jail. He's a pedophile.
So he also gave them alcohol and money, wrestled with them, and manipulated their feet for sexual gratification, made them undress and be naked in his presence, and was naked himself, touched their genitals and forced them to touch his, attempted to have penetrative sex with them. I'm sorry about the graphic nature, but ejaculated on in front of them, sometimes videotaped this conduct, and instructed them not to tell their parents.
Oh my God.
Classic pedophile right there. Let's see. John Doe 6 alleges he was also abused by Pat Patterson. Again, I don't really buy this part either. I mean, I don't know. You said you don't buy it either, but
no, I believe the Mel Phillips and the Terry Garvin part.
Terry Garvin, yeah.
I don't believe the Pat Patterson because I mean it's not like the Mel Phillips stuff, like where people are like, no, I actually saw Mel Phillips giving
nobody ever saw Pat doing this shit
in the backseat of a fucking car. I just don't buy the Pat Patterson part. I think it's because they all knew he was gay.
Yeah, they were smearing him because he's a homosexual in his early 90s. So Pat Patterson, the right-hand man of defendant Vincent McMahon, then owner of the World Wrestling, Federation. Again, entertainment. John Doe 6 says Patterson gave him alcohol, put pornography on the television, and forced him to engage in oral sex. John Doe 3 alleges he was abused by another WWE executive, Terry Garvin, vice president of WWE operations.
Who was also openly gay, but I believe Garvin was a pedophile as well.
Garvin allegedly put his hands on John Doe 3's shoulders and made comment that John Doe 3 interpreted to be sexual. Phillips, Patterson, and Garvin were collectively the alleged abusers are now deceased.
Funny that.
So plaintiffs allege that their abuse was a part and parcel of the broad culture of sexual misconduct that are persuasive in WWE. For example, many of the other ring boys and wrestlers have made similar allegations against Phillips, Patterson, and or Garvin. And one of those wrestlers was Barry Orton, Randy Orton's uncle.
Yes.
He claimed Pat Patterson, basically asked him, oh, if you have sex with me, then I'll get you a job. If not, then I'm not going to do anything for you.
But there was also like questioning Barry Orton's, story because he had a falling out with Pat Patterson, and I think this was I heard somewhere that this was revenge for that because he had a falling out with Pat Patterson, and he said, "Well, he just sexually assaulted me,"
Yeah, that could have been a smear job. I think Barry Orton went on Phil Donahue remember when Vince was on the show with him and Vince questioned his story and stuff, and so that was. And I thought I don't really buy the Barry Orton thing because again, Pat Patterson was Vince's right hand man, and I don't think that he would risk that just to sexually assault, try to have sex with the wrestlers.
And like I said, I think they did it because Pat was openly gay. It wasn't cool to be gay back then.
No.
It was like in the WWF, it was kind of like a don't ask, don't tell policy.
Yeah, Vince, they had a don't.
Yeah, so it was but everyone knew, according to Brett says this in his book, that everyone knew that Pat was gay. But yet I saw something back right before Pat, or it was right after Pat died. I saw something where he came out to Piper and a couple other guys and said, yo guys, I'm gay. Well, okay, so if Brett's right, everyone knew Pat was already gay. So why would he come out to Piper and them, and Piper and them acted shocked? I don't. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was just a bullshit thing, but I remember
I don't
seeing
know.
that like right after Pat died.
And Piper did an interview with Kayfabe Commentaries like 10 years ago. This is right before a few years before he died, and he claimed he didn't say it directly, but he claimed that on a car ride, Pat Patterson made it feel uncomfortable. So he wouldn't really go into detail on what happened, but all he said was Pat Patterson made it feel uncomfortable.
Right.
So I don't know what he meant by that. He's not sure whether he assaulted him or tried to assault him or touched him. Like I don't know the details of that, so that's why I'm like, I mean, Piper seemed really uncomfortable telling the story, so maybe something happened, but I don't know what it was. So
It
and
probably
Piper,
was a misunderstanding, or maybe Pat was ribbing
maybe,
him.
yeah,
I know
maybe,
Pat would like to rib people,
yeah,
but it wouldn't go to this extreme. And like I said, I
Hmm.
don't believe Pat Patterson would, or yeah, I don't think he was a pedophile. I know he was
no,
gay, but
yeah,
he had a partner for what 30 some odd years that he was
yeah,
with. And I'm not saying that gay people don't cheat on their
or
significant
yeah,
others or anything,
yeah,
but it just seems kind of weird. I mean, because like I said, I've read Brett's book, and he's like, everybody knew Pat was gay. I was like, okay, but then like I said, after it was like a few months after Pat Patterson died, I saw something on YouTube that he came out to a bunch of wrestlers. So
yeah. They all knew.
Maybe Piper didn't know
Yeah.
that Pat was gay, but according to Brett, everybody did. Everybody knew.
Yeah, I think it was an open secret in WWF, that Pat was gay, but it's don't ask, don't tell policy with, so that's why it's like, well, as long as he's not trying to touch me, whatever, I'm fine with it.
Right.
So Vince McMahon is alleged to have abused women working for WWE, for example, coercing them into oral sex and demoting them after they resisted further sexual encounters. That was that referee, Rita Chatterton. That's what they're
Yeah.
referring to here.
That was
Sending
1986, I think, right?
That was 1986. And I don't buy her story either because she claimed that Vince promised her a $500,000 a year salary. I was like, I don't think Hogan's making that much in '86. That $500,000 is a lot of money, especially back in '86. Not so much
Yeah.
now, but in '86 was a lot of fucking money. So she's gonna make him. She making more than Hogan. Like I don't. First of all, if that's true and Hogan found out about it, you know what he would say. So
Oh my god! And then Vince, of course. I mean, Vince was a
what?
cheapskate. He hated, like, literally, he hated parting with a penny. I mean,
Yeah,
he literally would pinch pennies so bad the cows would poop. I
yeah.
mean,
So if Hogan found out this referee making more with him, you know what he'd
That doesn't
say.
work for me, bro.
exactly. He would
Yeah,
literally shit himself and be like, "Well,
yeah,
I want more money, Vince.
yeah.
I'm your main eventer, damn it."
And sending them unsolicited naked photographs of themselves, sexually assaulting them, and subjecting them to sexual acts of cruelty, degradation, and injury. This is the time when, and this is not in this lawsuit, but in Jenel Grant's lawsuit, when he claimed that Vince shit on her head trying to have a threesome.
Yeah, with
Remember
the
that one?
therapist or something.
Yeah, it was like the physical therapist or something. They were having a threesome, and Vince shit on her head.
And the
Oh, come
the
on.
injury, I think, is he pounded her hard with a dildo or something.
Yeah, which he called Andre the Giant.
Ugh. I
It's
mean, I'm not saying he's not a sick fuck, but Janelle Grant
yeah.
was not innocent in all this either.
Yeah, she was having sex with him for a job, and Vince, and she was in the legal department, like doing basically like busy work, and they had a legal department hated her because they all knew that she was Vince's toy. That's why she got a job.
Yeah, that's the only
Uh,
reason why she had a job.
yeah. Plaintiffs allege that WWE and his co-founders Vincent and Linda McMahon knew about the sexual abuse of the Ring Boys, which they did.
They did.
Plaintiffs point to former WWE employees who apparently have publicly stated that such knowledge was widespread, which it was. All the
Mhm.
boys knew what they were doing. Plaintiffs note that a former high-level employee allegedly told Business Insider that the boys that the company hired to put up the ring and so forth, were being that is abused, and that it was generally known by everyone that was going on. The McMahons clearly knew what was going on, but did nothing to stop it, which is true. Nelson Swegler, a former WWE operations manager, when speaking about the Ring Boy abuse allegations, allegedly said everyone knew what was going on. Plaintiffs further alleged that the defendant, Vincent McMahon, was generally a micromanager, which is true, and who was aware and control of everything happening in the company, and that Linda McMahon was aware of every move in the ring, and the leader was trying to conceal the sordid underbelly of WWE's sexual abuse culture. So Vince McMahon is definitely a micromanager. Even right before he retired, he was still a micromanager. He controlled everything that happened on WWE television. So if it happened on WWE television, Vince knew about it and approved it. So
well, and this is the thing. I mean, you saw, yeah, of course the boys knew what was going on. As long as it wasn't happening to them, I guess they were okay with it. But they were forced not to tell because they knew if they told somebody, I mean, they went and told Vince, and Vince said, "Don't shut your mouth. Don't tell anybody because you know what's going to happen. They're going to get fired." And even if it was Bruno, even if it was Billy Graham, even if it was, you know, who did I say? I think
Learning Ladd.
Ernie Ladd, yeah. I mean, they all knew that if they actually told the police or whatever and tried to stop it, they'd lose their jobs, and they needed their jobs. I'm not sticking up for them. I'm saying they should have probably done it, but, you know.
Now, that sexual abuse was a culture in pro wrestling, not just WWF. I mean, Grizzly Adams. Grizzly Adams was a known pedophile.
Yeah,
I mean, he
was.
Jake the Snake's this is Jake the Snake Roberts' father, by the way, if you don't know.
And Sam Houston's father as well.
Yeah. And Rockin' Robin's father.
And Rockin' Robin's father, yeah.
So
in fact, Jake tells the story that Jake Roberts told the story that his mother was 13, and the reason why she abandoned him, he got a 13-year-old pregnant. She abandoned him because she was still 13. She was only 13.
Yeah. So it's you can't really get mad at a 13-year-old girl for abandoning her abuser, you know, even if she had a son, but she was just 13. You know, she's still a kid herself. So Grizzly Adams, a known pedophile and sexual abuser. This culture wasn't, and he also worked for Vince. I think around that time in the 80s.
Yeah.
So Vince knew about Grizzly Adams. It was a culture in wrestling back in the 80s, the 70s and the 80s especially. There were a lot of pedophiles. As long as they drew money, the promoters didn't give a shit, or the bookers. So they can do whatever they want.
They're going to go into what several wrestlers have claimed that I didn't know it was in Allentown. That pisses me off. Of course, this was done in 82 and 83, and I wasn't even born yet. So,
beyond these general allegations, plaintiffs also claim that the WWE and the McMahons knew about Phillips' sexually abused ring boys, which they know. For example, plaintiffs say in 1982 and 1983 in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which the WWF ran quite regularly in 82, 83, Phillips was spotted in a car with a child about 10 or 11 years old performing oral sex on him. Again, that's the story that multiple guys saw them and told publicly. So a security guard brought the child into the arena and presented him to Vince McMahon, who, along with Vince McMahon's father, Vince Sr., responded that they would handle it. Several years later, Phillips was briefly suspended by WWE for a similar act. In around 1987, Vincent McMahon was allegedly aware of a teen boy being widely referred within WWE as Mrs. Mel Phillips. Oh my God! I didn't know. I didn't even know about this.
Oh my God! I want to go throw up now.
And in 1988, both Vincent and Linda McMahon are alleged to have fired Phillips. In Vince McMahon's word, his relationship with the kids seemed peculiar and unnatural, according to Vince. So
you don't say, Vince. Jesus Christ! The good thing they weren't girls; they would get pregnant.
Only to have hired him back weeks later with the admonition to steer clear from kids, quote unquote. So he hired him back and basically said, "Hey, pal, don't stay away from kids, but you can have your job back." An admonition that they knew Phillips did not heed. And Vince had to have known there's no way this guy would. He can't control himself.
Admission. I think that's admission.
Admission. Yeah, I mean, that's I can't.
I couldn't talk yesterday either.
Yeah. Vincent McMahon responded to a New York Post reporter's assertion that this New York Post reporter was what's his face? Forget his name. The one that hates Vince. He worked for the New York Post for years. He's a columnist.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. Ugh.
No. Yeah, he's. Who is he? I can see his face, but Phil Mushnick.
Mushnick, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the New York Post reporter that asked McMahon about that. Vince McMahon responded to New York Post reporter's assertion that he had to have known that Garvin and Patterson and Phillips were doing this by saying that's why we would have gotten rid of them. So of course Vince denied the allegation by Phil Mushnick, and he hates him to this day. Phil Mushnick, is the one that reported on every fucked up thing that Vince did, and I think Mushnick went on the Phil Donahue show too. Or I don't, maybe he didn't. I don't remember. I have to rewatch that episode.
Mhm.
Plaintiffs allege that the FBI investigated Phillips in the early 90s and identified 10 victims of abuse. In receipt of a videotape showing Phillips' public behavior with ring boys, the FBI allegedly opined that his activity with boys' feet was most likely sexual behavior, but
Right.
declined to pursue criminal charges because there were quote unquote no alleged victims that are willing to admit or describe the nature of their activity with
Yes, because they would have gotten in trouble with Vince or with Phillips himself.
yeah.
Because he's the one, the abuser is always going to say, "Oh, don't tell your parents, or bad things will happen to you." If this had gone out that Vince, if the victims had come forward, they knew if something happened where, the court would rule in Vince's favor, they would get in trouble.
Yeah, despite their knowledge of Phillips' abuse of ring boys, the plaintiffs allege that defendants failed to intervene and protect plaintiffs from abuse. Indeed, plaintiffs allege that the defendants took steps to affirmatively enable the abuse. They continued to employ Phillips in a capacity that involved in direct contact with ring boys, and they provided him with WWE props and paraphernalia. So not only did they keep employing, but they gave him merch in order to give to the kids. So he'd be still right around these kids. Free tickets to ringside seats at shows, access to WWE wrestlers, private rooms at venues, and hotel rooms. And Vincent McMahon personally participated in WWE's culture of sexual misconduct as described above. Through these negligent conduct, defendants are alleged to have approximately caused the mental and emotional distress that resulted from Phillips, Patterson and Garvin's sexual abuse of the plaintiffs. In addition to mental emotional distress, the plaintiffs allege physical and mental injuries, lost wages, and benefits of employment. So this is like the details of
Yeah, because if you
filed.
turned them down, they would get rid of you. But
Yep.
why did they have? I don't understand. Like those rings were pretty, heavy. I don't know how they would have these 11 to 15-year-olds carrying a fucking heavy ring around. It just it seems like they just set it up so that these pedophiles could literally do that. And again, I don't think Pat Patterson had anything to do with it. I think he did ribs and made guys sometimes feel uncomfortable. I mean, but that was the culture too. I mean, Kurt is known for many
in
ribs.
pro wrestling.
Yeah,
At the time, it was.
But not that, like not grabbing a guy's dick and making him feel uncomfortable or anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, he would do ribs and stuff. So I just can't believe that Pat Patterson would be doing that. I think that I honestly believe that unless the corpse of Pat Patterson tells me yes, I did this, I can't believe that Pat would do that. He was such a sweet guy. I think this was just revenge because he was gay. He was openly gay.
Yeah, it's the late 80s and 90s where gay people were not looked at as not fondly, but as it wasn't accepted in that culture as it is today. So
I mean, hell, in 1982, again, I don't remember the congressman's name, but he wanted to strap gay people to the electric chair for being gay. So
execution,
in my mind, it will literally not compute unless I hear it from dead Pat Patterson himself. That I can't believe it. I'm sorry, I can't. So I believe the Mel Phillips stuff because there is corroborating evidence that proves that they've seen him in a car with a 10-year-old. The Terry Garvin, everyone knew he was openly gay as well. So, I don't know if he was openly gay, but I know he was gay, and people knew about it.
It's an open secret that he was gay too. So this is the part where WWE and TKO's motion to dismiss. So they were asking to dismiss this lawsuit, obviously, which I think it was rejected of because the judge considered that this is in Maryland. So the abuse did happen in Maryland, which is why the lawsuit was filed there. Direct liability. So an employer can be directly liable for negligent failure to control the employee's conduct when an employee acts outside the scope of their employment relationship, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Anything else that I can cover? Probably not. These are more legalese basically down here. There's probably a lot of legalese here. Let me see. Vicarious liability. So yeah, it's more legalese. I think there's nothing else here, but defendants also argues the plaintiff's pleading is deficient insofar blah blah blah. So yeah, it's all legalese down here, but personal jurisdiction. Hold on, let me see. There's
What
like
are
a
they going to do? I mean, to be honest, what are they going to do now? Phillips and Garvin are all dead. They're all dead. You can't get anything from them.
yeah.
I mean, you
So
could try to take
really,
it from the families, but
they're looking for money from McMahon and WWE. So or the McMahons, let's say in WWE and TKO. So
right.
let's see.
I'm not saying they shouldn't put. They should not have put Garvin and I'm sorry, Terry Garvin, because if you say Garvin, you're like, Ronnie Garvin. No, Ronnie Garvin. He's married to a woman.
Terry. Yeah, it's Terry Garvin.
Yeah, Terry Garvin was gay. Everyone knew it in the wrestling business, I guess, but I guess that wasn't an open secret for the public. But Pat Patterson, everybody in the wrestling business knew Pat Patterson was gay.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Which
who
is
knew
why-
if Terry Garvin was gay or not. But again, doesn't mean that
Again,
they're
this is-
pedophiles. It's not just gays who are pedophiles. Okay, there are other, heterosexual pedophiles as well. We have one in the White House. So again, would anyone really be shocked that Terry Garvin, Mel Phillips, Vince McMahon, Linda McMahon are probably on the Epstein files?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. So the judge did order the dismissal of plaintiff John Doe 7 because Vince McMahon, what was it? Hereby granted, whose claims against Vince McMahon are dismissed without prejudice. Vince McMahon's motion is hereby denied for the respective plaintiffs 1 through 6 and 8. So for some reason, John Doe 7 was dismissed without prejudice. In other words, John Doe 7 can file a lawsuit on his own against Vince and WWE, or Linda. So that's why it says without prejudice. Let's see. So also the plaintiff without prejudice of the same plaintiff, James Bredar is the district court judge. Is hearing this case. So yeah, there you go. There's some new stuff I didn't know about here.
I knew about the Mel Phillips stuff, and the Terry Garvin actually he would actually trade sexual favors with these kids. And he would give them ring tickets, just like Mel Phillips would do, give them ring tickets, let them meet the wrestlers and stuff like that. That's just awful. I mean, that is just, oh my God.
Yeah,
that makes me sick, it really does. But then back then they didn't care about your kid. They still don't care about your kid, but now they pretend to at least care about your kid. Mm-hmm. My opinion on this is that nothing's going to be done. I mean, all the people that were named in the lawsuit, except for Vince and TKO and WWE, are all deceased. So it's like getting blood from a turnip. It's not going to happen, I just don't see this going anywhere, and I feel bad for the plaintiffs the plaintiffs because they've had to deal with this since they were kids, and they're getting no justice, and there will be no justice because this world is trying to normalize pedophilia, and it's not just of boys; it's of girls too. They don't care about your kid; they want to rape them, and they want to get away with it. And here's why: rich people who know about the pedophilia or who do the pedophilia will never be caught. They will never be jailed because they are trying to normalize it as well. We're just attracted to kids. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah. So we have. Let me see anything else here. What's this? Yeah. So these are the lawyers that are the plaintiffs, or they're representing the plaintiffs. So they see money here. That's why they're here. So I don't think these lawyers are representing them out of
That's out of the kindness of their hearts.
Yeah, yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I don't care. 5. there's 5 attorneys that represent these plaintiffs. Look, they're definitely victims, but these lawyers are not. They want that 33% cut of whatever they get from WWE and Vince. So the lawsuit filed by Licello, Levitt, and Murphy, Falcon and Murphy, is pending. Blah blah blah. The case seeks accountability from WWE, Vince and Linda McMahon, and TKO. TKO didn't do anything, but
Yeah,
unfortunately, they
TKO
owned
wasn't
WWE.
even a part of it. That was back in the 80s when Vince
Yeah,
literally took it from his father. It was like a couple years after Vince
yeah.
took it from his
But,
father. So
But unfortunately for TKO, like I said, they buy all the debts and they buy the lawsuits. So now they're defendants in this lawsuit and had nothing to do with it. So who plaintiffs allege enabled and facilitated and or failed to prevent abuse, with Supreme Court of Maryland's landmark decision eliminating the statute of limitations for child sex abuse lawsuits, which is why this lawsuit was filed, because the statute of limitations obviously passed in 40 years.
yeah.
But the Supreme Court lifted the statute of limitations in Maryland, so now they get to file the suit, even though it happened decades ago. So this is the part that I found funny. Our firms are committed to uncovering the truth about WWE's culture of abuse and fighting for justice for all survivors. As lead counsel
Why
for other
aren't you?
major sex abuse cases, including the international litigation against disgraced fashion mogul Peter Nygaard DiCello, Levitt continues to protect children, women, and men from exploitation, sexual violence, and discrimination.
Yeah,
So
right.
this
And
law,
your salaries all say that too, huh?
yeah,
Oh.
this law firm is committed to fighting for children and
And why
against
don't
sexual
you? Why
violence.
don't you stand up to all the fucking rich pedophiles? You know why? Because you don't really give a fuck. You just want the payday that comes with it.
Yeah, so those are the attorneys that filed that suit. A lot of this stuff is older. So yeah, that's my and the WWE. Let's see what's currently happening now. Not much. I mean, Cody Rhodes still feuding with Gunther. They're eventually gonna have a match, probably Night of Champions. Let's see.
Well, yeah, because I mean, at I almost want to say Fall Brawl. Sorry, I did a tribute to Rick Rude, and he was at Fall Brawl, and he actually beat Ric Flair for the belt. So I was like, "What the fuck, Fall Brawl?" What the hell did they just No, not Backlash. Oh, what was the fucking pay-per-view?
The last one, is Clash in Italy.
Clash in Italy. Thank you. So
Yeah,
Clash in Italy. We all know that Gunther got screwed because his foot was under the rope.
So the heel got screwed out of the title, which usually the opposite, but whatever. They're backwards booking from WWE. Gunther apparently chose Sami Zayn to be the referee for his rematch at Night of Champions. So for some reason, Gunther got to choose the referee. Whatever. I really didn't watch, so I really don't know how that happened. Cody Rhodes trades slaps with Sami Zayn in a heated exchange. Let's see.
Well, you know, Sami Zayn, now that he's not the U.S. champ, he's going to probably try to go after. I mean, this is the thing. They're not going to let Sami Zayn be the champion. Okay, I'm sorry, Sami, but your time is not now. Okay, it was like maybe 30 years ago when you could have been something, other than a comedy sketch.
Yeah. So the King of the Ring tournament, Obafemi is facing Dominic Mysterio in the next round next week, and he got attacked by JD McDonough and Dominic. He both kicked their asses, of course, and made him and they ran away. So, Jay Uso.
I just don't think they're. And can I just say one more thing about Obafemi? I just don't think that they're going to take that dude seriously. They literally made Brock made him look like a bitch. So I think they're going to. Time has come and gone. I don't think TKO doesn't think that Obafemi could be anything. I know Obafemi can be something. He could be the next big thing like Brock Lesnar was. I just don't think TKO would take it very seriously. And it could be that maybe TKO is a little racist. I'm just saying. If Obo was white, would they be doing the same thing? Probably not.
Yeah. So my camera crashed there for a second, I noticed, but it should be fine now. Let's see. Chad Gable is now babyface helping the Luchadors after what happened at La Noche de los Grandes. Yeah. let's see. Pretty much that's it. I mean, Jacob Fatu is now totally committed to his tribal chief, which is Roman Reigns. I mean, they really I'm not sure what their plans are for him. He seems like Roman's lackey and committed to that now, unlike before, where
Just like they did with Solo Sikoa. Yeah, now they're gonna feud. They're gonna feud with Solo Sikoa, and that's bloodline. That failed bloodline with the Tamatonga and Tambaloa or whatever.
Yeah, and Jacob went to Solo on SmackDown, I think, and basically said the tribal chief wants you to come home, which kind of intimating that Roman wants Solo to rejoin his bloodline again. So, of course, I don't know what's going to happen there. If he does rejoin the bloodline, then that's going to, I mean, it's just a repeat of what been happening for the previous 4 years in WWE. So, oh, God.
I told you 4 more years of Roman, it's going to suck. It's going to be worse than it was the first time. The first time, okay, it was new. It was, they were polishing it. And, this is why Jey Uso got away from the bloodline, because he was sick of Roman. But now, hey, I'll just suck your dick. Come here,
Nothing.
It's like come on, guys, stop.
It's like the last 4 years didn't happen.
Champion. I think Jacob could really carry the company the way I think it should be carried, but they won't do that. They want 4 more years of Reigns because, Reigns is back and he isn't going to Hollywood anytime soon. So let's just have another boring 4 years of fucking Roman Reigns.
Yeah, not Vince. TKO is seems like committed to Roman Reigns on top, and Cody is Cody's like a second fiddle champion now because of course whatever belt Roman holds is the top belt in the company. So
right, I mean that's what they're making a mockery of Cody. Why even have Cody as champion? Why not just give it to Gunther and then he can be second fiddle to?
I think they will. I think Cody in Night of Champions, Gunther's going to become WWE champion. That's my suspicion. And Cody will go on to feud with Sami Zayn, which is not something I'm looking forward to. It's a waste of Cody's
what the
time,
fuck?
honestly.
I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. I thought the people who like Sami Zayn wanted him to just be champion that's why he was pissed off and he wouldn't turn heel against Killer Cross.
Yeah, now he's a heel.
Now he's a heel.
So that makes Killer Cross right ultimately. He's always a heel, but he refused to do it. So now he's doing it, and it proves him right ultimately in the story. So if he ever to come back to WWE, he can go to Sammy. He's like, "What? I was right, wasn't I?" But it seems like TKO has no interest in hiring him back. So
yeah, I hate TKO. They can go suck a dick. I think they missed a great opportunity because Karrion is going to be. He's already champion of an indie.
But he was over with the audience. That's why I'm shocked that they didn't bring him back. It was just by the time he got fired or his contract expired, he was over. I thought, okay, they'll bring him back in a few months and he'll be a big star. No, it's been a year and a half since he was not re-signed, and they didn't do anything. They haven't done anything to bring him back. So
they haven't even suggested it.
Yeah.
And this is where TKO literally, I hate TKO for this because they are literally losing an opportunity to have a top star in Karrion Kross. The dude can do it.
Mm-hmm. I think they're up to Triple H. I think we would have hired him back but unfortunately, not up to Triple H. So they don't want to spend the money. Because it probably would cost them $750 to $1 million to bring him back, and he had no. They brought up all the green NXT talent to fill the mid card, and they're all green. They all suck pretty much. So
and they can pay them less.
Yeah, they'll pay him a lot less. Yeah.
Yeah.
So something funny happened on SmackDown when Jade Cargill lost her. Her wig came off during the match, which is pretty funny. Is that her wig came off and we saw her actual real hair. So it's that's a mistake. Let's see. Trick Williams.
I think honestly, and I'm gonna say this nicely because I don't really care about trans. I think that's a trans. I think she's a trans. I think she's a guy. Kind of looks like it. Talks like one. I thought Nia Jax was one too because she sounds like a guy talking too. As a trans guy, she sounds like a guy being a trans woman. But I don't really care. Nia Jax is fine. Jade Cargill to me seems like a trans.
Yeah, she's very manly. But Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and Ricky Saints trade blows in explosive melee. By the way, this is what I'm talking about. The mid card is just awful. Like Ricky Saints is Cody Rhodes' best friend, or one of his friends, which is why he got a job. Carmelo Hayes is just there, like it's like he's starting to get over with the crowd, kind of, but he doesn't
But then
fit.
Javon Evans too, you know.
Yeah,
So I
Javon
say that
Evans is he's over though. I mean, the
he's
crowd likes.
over, but I mean he's a flippy floppy guy, and I
Yeah.
don't like that kind of wrestling.
Yeah, he's one of those like flippy guys, and he's like 15 years younger than Ricochet, and he's a lot less of an asshole, which is why everybody likes him. Because Ricochet, we all know he's an asshole, So
hey, and if you want to suck that dick of AEW, you go for it.
So that's why they let Ricochet fuck off, because like, hey, we got Javon Evans down in NXT, he'll replace you as the flippy guy, so whatever.
Right.
And he's cheaper too than Ricochet, so.
Well, and yeah, see, that's the thing, and why I honestly think that they just pulled a bunch of people up from NXT who really weren't fucking ready. So Ruka, not fucking ready. For some reason, she cannot execute that Soul Crusher at all to save her butt. And what was the other one? I can't remember. Because they were making fun of her on Jim Cornette's show. They were making fun of her because she can't do that Soul Crusher. Every time she goes to do it, she fucks up.
She slips on the rope, or the girl,
or I don't know if she's nervous or she just doesn't know what she's doing. But I mean, come on, guys. But it is cheaper to go get a bunch of NXT guys that you're only paying $150,000 a year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they're making very little,
or $150,000 a year. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the standard contract for NXT is $75,000 a year.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I remember at the time when they revealed the contracts, they'd be like $75,000 for developmental deals. So if they're still on that contract, then that's not a lot. They probably make more money now since on the main roster, maybe 150, but it's not compared to guys like Killer Cross and the bunch Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. They're not making any money compared to them. So let's see. Ray Phoenix defended his AAA Cruiserweight title against Axiom. Apparently was one of these flippy matches. I didn't really watch it, but Ray Phoenix retained that belt. Jey Uso advanced in the King of the Ring tournament, so I'm like,
of course he did.
I know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Obafemi versus Jey Uso in the final, and
I'll put over Jey Uso.
I'll be surprised if Jey Uso interferes in that match, and
you mean?
Or not? Yeah, the Bloodline. Let's say they interfere in that match in order to make sure Jey Uso wins. And then the rumored match is Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes for the title, because Roman basically told Jey Uso, "You never held Cody's belt, right? So you need to go and beat him for that belt." So like,
but he shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that way.
If Jey Uso wins the WWE Championship and Roman has the world title, that's going to be worse than that's going to be just brutal to watch, because both of the world champions are in the same stable, the Bloodline. So it's like, and Jey Uso is going to be champion for a long time, because they like building out these long, monotonous melodrama stories. They originally did it with the original Bloodline, which was great, but now they're going to repeat the same formula, and it's not going to work this time because.
Well, and they really shouldn't have made Jey Uso the champion the first time, because he only had that belt because he lost 2 or 3 times to Roman. He wasn't going to give him the belt.
Yeah,
he won against Gunther. He won first of all. He won the Royal Rumble. Then he won the belt from Gunther, and that shouldn't have happened. Again, I think his wrestling is not. It's not what Cody Rhodes is, and I'm not saying that. Cody Rhodes is second generation. His dad was Dusty Rhodes, and I'm not trying to be partial here, but Cody's got it. He grew up around the business. Jey Uso, I don't know if he paid attention to anything his dad did.
He's like second generation himself, or third generation maybe, because I'm sure Rikishi's grandfather in the line also worked. I don't know. So at the very least, he's second generation. So Jey Uso becoming WWE champion is basically
inevitable.
At this point, It's probably going to be Jey Uso, WWF champion, and then Cody can go off and feud with Sami Zayn, which is not going to make any sense, and I don't know why they would be feuding in the first place. Sami Zayn has never really done anything to Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, I don't understand this because they've been building up the Sami Zayn Cody feud for a while. They committed TV time with this, so they really believe in this feud for whatever reason. I'm not sure whether it's Cody telling the management that he wants to work with Sami, because I don't think they can force anything on Cody. So, because he's a top guy. So basically, it's like this has to be Cody saying I want to feud with Sami. I don't know why, because Sami's never a main eventer, and never will be. So I'm not sure it's Cody trying to elevate him with this feud to or what. I don't know what his intentions are, but I don't think you're not. Yeah, because it's brutal. Oh, Danhausen also made an appearance on SmackDown saying he needs human monies and jewelry to make the Knicks win or lose. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Here's what's going to happen. You know who's going to win against the Knicks and the Spurs? Whoever the people in Vegas want to win. So I'm sorry, Angel, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. It's gonna be Vegas picking the winner, probably the Spurs.
If they were smart, they pick a New York market because that's gonna make them a lot more money than the Spurs.
It could be the Knicks. Maybe they pick the Knicks and go with the New York market.
Yeah, look, the finals ratings they haven't had the rate that these high. They haven't had high ratings like this since '98. That was Michael Jordan's last NBA Finals. So, so they're loving this. The NBA. It's like that's why I wouldn't be surprised if it went 6 or 7, because the NBA is going to try to make sure it goes 6 or 7 because they're trying to wring every dollar they can from these finals. So,
and here's what my son says. My son always says this. 6, 7. I don't know what it's from. I
don't know either.
Like, you're crazy.
Yeah. So, let's see. On Raw, we had LA Knight and Jey Uso arguing again, which again, it's like this a pointless feud because LA Knight's never going to win, never going to be a main eventer at this point because Triple H doesn't believe in him.
Triple H, yeah. He ticked off Triple H, though Triple H was trying to make him, it was supposed to be you taking this match. Yeah, but he wasn't going to win.
He wasn't going to win. There's always going to be
because he wasn't going to win. I would have watched it too. Screw you,
Triple H was like, yeah, we were trying to feature you in the finish, so to make you look good, but he was going to lose. What are you talking about? Make him look good?
What do you mean make him look good by losing again?
Yeah, he basically looks like a jabroni because Seth Rollins just shoves him off the ladder and climbs up and wins. So, it wasn't going to make him look good. It's totally ridiculous. But Triple H, I guess, was gaslighting LA Knight. It was like, oh, yeah, but it's just that spot was for you, you to look good.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't like this corporate Triple H. I really didn't like Triple H as a wrestler, but I really don't like the corporate Triple H because he makes everyone think that, oh, well, I have to do this and I have to do that. And really, TKO is the one who's pulling the strings. So don't try to gaslight us, Triple H. We know what's going on. Okay? We ain't stupid.
So
why don't you just go back to the White House with all the pedophiles and just, do your little exercising, trying to pretend like you give a fuck about our kids, which you don't.
Yeah. Real quick, AEW's been brutal. Darby Allin.
Oh my God.
They want Darby Allin's not going for the world title again, even though MJF won it back. He's feuding with the Jet and doesn't give a shit about the world title, which makes no sense because he was just the world champion. Like, why not? At the very least, you do one more rematch and then you want to push him down the card. That's fine. But no, he doesn't give a shit about the world title anymore.
I was listening to Jim Cornette and they were talking about All Out or something. It was All Out or All In or something like that.
Yeah,
but
the most recent show, whatever it was.
They were talking about that and Meltzer's star ratings, and I went, I give it -7 stars, and I didn't even watch the damn thing.
It's brutal.
I mean, come on, it was brutal.
Meltzer is always giving him high stars, no matter what.
Because his boyfriend is Tony Khan.
He has to be. He has to have some ownership in AEW because there's no way that you watch this show and it's brutal and you're still insisting that it's good. So not even his co-host, Brian Alvarez, like
Yeah,
AEW.
I mean they were fighting again. I hate when Dad and Dad fight.
Yeah, they fight all the time now about
They
AEW.
fight all the time now. He's like, come on, that was awful. And oh no, they were arguing about the the Penta and Javon. No, what the hell is that guy's name? Something Evans.
Javon Evans.
No, Evan Williams or something. It was Penta and the guy from NXT. They just brought him up. I can't even remember his freaking name now. Ethan Page. Is that his name?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, so they had a match, and they had Brian Alvarez and Meltzer were talking about it, and Brian's like, no, come on, it was a great match. You know, they were doing this and doing that, and he's like, I've seen better. I'm like, yeah, because your boyfriend makes you watch that stupid shit in AEW.
They had this the main event, a Saturday night's main event, I think. They had that match for the Intercontinental, and it was okay. I mean, they had a wrestling match, like, you know, so it wasn't like it was out of this world great, like Alvarez claimed, but it was okay. It was just a match on Saturday's main event. You know, it wasn't.
Hey, CBC and Vicky.
Yeah, hey. It was okay at best. You know, it wasn't like crazy good. Like, oh my god!
I'm not saying it was like, you know, like 7 stars or anything, but I mean, it shows how Meltzer is literally in the pocket of Tony Khan and how he sucks his dick. I mean, because you know that if he don't give good ratings to AEW, or he gives good ratings to WWE, I mean, Tony Khan's not going to want him anymore.
Oh, the ratings for AEW went down this past week again. So you had the 500,000 range. And oh, by the way, Paramount and Skydance officially have purchased Warner Brothers Discovery. So the DOJ approved the merger.
Yeah,
and
I know. I heard that.
And yeah, and now Larry Ellison owns CBS, Paramount, and CNN. So a lot of the news even more right wing now than what it is right now. So look forward to that. Barry Weiss is going to run CNN, and just like she's running CBS, and that means AEW is in deep shit because I don't see the Ellisons investing in AEW the way that the previous ownership of Warner Brothers Discovery did. So apparently Warner Brothers Discovery owns a part of AEW, according to the paperwork that's come out. I'm not sure how much, but that's why they probably stick with it. But I don't see the Ellisons, even if they own a part, they might just sell it back to Tony and then cancel the show.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. All I know is that, you know, it just makes me sick every time Meltzer. I mean, I don't like Penta's matches. Okay, I never liked Penta's matches, even when I was watching them.
He's a Lucha Libre.
But it's too much flippy for me, you know. And
that's mostly Lucha Libre nowadays. It's flippy stuff.
But I mean, like Juventud Guerrera and people back in WCW, Rey Mysterio, they set the ladder for what Lucha Libre used to be.
Yeah. That was great.
Even Eddie Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero and Eddie's father. I can't remember his name now.
Gory Guerrero. Gory.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, all those, even Rey Mysterio Sr. was, you know, among that. So Dominic is actually what, 3rd generation?
Yeah, he's 3rd because Rey Mysterio Sr. wasn't his dad; it was Rey Mysterio's uncle. And he bequeathed the Rey Mysterio Jr. name to him because he earned it. So that's why he became Rey Mysterio Jr.
Okay. But
and
I mean,
when he got
that was the Lucha Libre of my day, you know.
And when Vince hired him, he dropped the Junior part because, of course, don't call me Junior, pal.
Right.
He hated juniors. He hated it. So that's why he dropped it from Ray's name, and he's been Rey Mysterio.
Well, and the boys used to always tease him, right? They used to call him Vince.
The old boy, like the Brunos and those guys. Gorilla Monsoon always used to tease him and call him Junior, and he hated it.
I'll tell you what, that man was such a cheapskate. Vince was. Oh my god. So, are we ready for my segment?
Yeah, I mean, I'm done pretty much. It's just,
I mean, that was, Thank you for doing the ring boy thing. Unfortunately, that was a little graphic, but it's okay. I was just like, well, that won't be my son because I would punch anybody who does that. So we're going to talk a little bit. My segment is about the Nature Boy Ric Flair, on again, off again, saying he's going to sue his son, and then he's not going to sue his son. What is he talking about? I don't know. But I did recently hear this on the Jim Cornette show. So I'd like to bring that up for everybody, and we will go over it.
Ric Flair is insane. It's like,
I mean, he really is.
Jim.
Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure that was there. All right, so we're going to hear, and this is crazy graphics, like he's, but it's because if anyone knows about Ric Flair, he was in a pizza parlor and he called a guy a dipshit. I think it was a dipshit. He tried to call him a dipshit, and the closed captioning said Egyptian. So now they just make jokes about it every single time, right?
But Ric Flair was drunk. I don't think
he was drunk, right? He was drunk. He called the guy dipshit, and the closed captioning said Egyptian.
Like, my mom calls me an alcoholic, and I don't drink every day. I drink like once in a blue moon. I get a beer or something, but that's to her as an alcoholic. Ridiculous, but I digress. So Ric Flair drinks every single day, every single minute. It seems like he's always drunk now. Like every time there's a video, he's drunk.
Have you seen any of those cameos that he did?
Oh yeah.
And charged like $1,000 for him. I would not.
He's like
pay $1,000.
He's like, why are you getting married, motherfucker? Literally said motherfucker.
He does it from like a bar too, and you can hear people going, "Nature Boy," like that. So, dude, if you're gonna do a cameo, do it professionally, and then charge $1,000. But don't do it from like a fucking restaurant bar. Jesus. All right, so here we go. We're going to hear Jim Cornette talk about the whole. There was a tweet from Ric Flair, I guess. We're going to hear Jim Cornette talk about
I assume it was a drunk tweet.
A drunk tweet about David Flair, his son, who was in wrestling. And let me just say real fast that I never liked David Flair.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't like Daphne, the woman who used to scream at ringside. I used to scream at my TV, "Shut the fuck up, you bitch!" Because I hate when people scream. That's like a pet peeve of mine. If you scream for no fucking reason, right? It's like, stop screaming. You're hurting my ears. All right. So I never liked Daphne. Crowbar, I didn't get. I was like, I don't know. I'll just stick with Kurt Hennig. At this point, that's the only reason why I watched WCW anyway at this point, because it was kind of like 99, it was like early 99, and then it was like late 99 and into 2000. And Kurt leaves in like April or May of 2000. So, I mean, there was that one thing, that one stint with, not Stan Stasiak. Jesus. Sorry. What the hell's the son's name? Damn it, I forgot now. Anyway, Stasiak. Shit, I can't think of his fucking first name. But anyway, it's
Sean
Stan Stasiak. Yeah, Sean Stasiak. Thank you.
His father was Stan Stasiak.
Yeah, his father was Stan, and Stan was in the AWA, and of course knew Kurt.
Stan was the one who ended Bruno's 8-year title run or 7-year title run.
Oh, get out! No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a champion for a week before he dropped it, I think, to Pedro Morales, who became the next WWF champion.
Okay, well, Sean Stasiak will come in and be the perfect one. I don't know what the fuck that was all about, but it was like a kind of passing of the torch. I guess Kurt knew he wasn't going to spend too much more time in WCW, and he even gave Sean Stasiak his music too from WWE. I wonder if that was like a lawsuit waiting to happen, because it was the exact music.
It would have been, because WWF owned the music. I mean, it was created by Jim Johnstone, so it was like Johnston.
So I'm guessing it didn't last very long. The feud didn't really last that long. It lasted like a couple of weeks, and all you see is this vignette of Sean Stasiak doing with a girl who looks like a fucking cheerleader, standing over with a bunch of basketballs. He's like, "I'm going to make the perfect shot and beat the world record, blah, blah, blah." And you see Kurt come in and, "Oh, you're going to be the perfect one, huh? Beat your ass." Anyway, back to Ric Flair. I didn't like David Flair, of course. I just didn't get David's part. I mean, it seemed like, I mean, real world things where like a father and son can have a falling out because of a girl, and the pussy always wins, unfortunately. They had what the hell's her name? Tori Wilson. Tori Wilson came into the WWE or the WCW at the time. And she was the pussy behind the falling out between him and David. Yeah. So David would eventually join the NWO. Why, I have no fucking clue. But to turn on his father, I guess. Everybody turns on Ric Flair eventually.
Yeah.
So, all right, here we go. We're going to hear the tweets, the drunken tweets, Ric Flair's tweets about David Flair.
Yes.
As we continue on here, wanted to ask you about it because a ton of listeners have sent it over, obviously. Have you seen, what are your thoughts on, if you have, the latest Ric Flair Twitter stuff or social media with David Flair?
Well, I didn't understand it at first until I read, people explaining it. He tweeted something there was a logo of a company that titled Green Flair, and he was tweeting that, copyright infringement, I own my trademarks, and, something about your wife runs your life. I had no idea he was talking about his son, Dave.
I have a few things here.
Of course
I think they're in order, because several of his messages were deleted after the fact. But again, as it was happening live on social media in front of the world, people were sending it over. This one was a message on Facebook. Unfortunately, there is someone I'm very familiar with using my own trademark, Flair. I would like anyone who is using my trademarks, which are impossible to own, and I own mine, to know that I'm well represented by a reputable $1,000 per hour attorney that makes a living suing people that abuse my trademark.
But it's so great. It's like a promo. I got my $1,000 an hour lawyer right here, baby.
You know who I'm talking about. I hope you clear this up by Monday. And if we can't resolve this issue, read the penalties.
Oh my God.
And then he screenshotted penalties for brand and trademark infringement include court-ordered injunctions to stop using the mark, destruction of infringing goods, and significant financial restitution. And it goes on a little bit from there. So when that first came out, no one knew exactly who he was talking about. It was posted in the Cult of Cornet Facebook group by I may get this wrong, Teodor Stanimirov.
Oh boy!
One of our international members of the Cult of Cornet, and he wrote.
I thought he's from Euclid, Ohio.
And he wrote on today's episode of Reasons to Take Rick's Internet Access Away.
Bam.
And then that was followed up by one where he had an image of himself in a robe, and next to that a picture of seemingly David Flair and I'm assuming his wife. They're kind of hugging and looking towards the camera. I'm obviously not suing my son. Just reminding him that you can't have the best of both worlds.
What the hell are you talking about?
Use your God-given name, Flair.
Well, use yours
which isn't worth a cup of coffee. Or your wife's name.
Oh, you are so dumb, Flair. I mean, obviously the Flair name, like Flair, is used for other companies. And you don't see him bitching about that.
Yeah.
Okay, more of this.
Who has had 3 generations of success? Also, please don't sell my robes that I let you use during your career, as you have already sold one. You're 47 years old. Now stand on your own 2 feet, please.
I'm confused.
What? He's got his own fucking business there. What is he?
Also, can I borrow $5,000?
Oh, come on.
That's not what that says. But yeah, I mean, he has a business that it didn't just start up like last week. This is like, it's been like a couple decades. And he has a recycling business it's actually working for David Flair.
Yeah, he's not. He's standing on his own 2 feet for a long time.
I heard that. I was like,
Rick,
what the fuck is Flair talking about?
It seems like Rick is the one struggling financially. They have been for years.
This
So
had to
he
be
does.
a drunken tweet. It literally had to be.
Yeah,
drunken.
he's had to do promotions and advertising for shitty companies because he needs the money. So it's a sad environment for him to exist in. But this is ridiculous. It's like
Jesus H. Christ.
like
Jesus, H. Oh God, yeah. I mean, this is what we've come to now, where we have a drunken Ric Flair yelling at his own son and threatening to sue him. Basically, he's like, well, and then he's like, I did not threaten to sue. You just threatened to sue your own son. You said a cease and desist letter. Jesus Christ.
nah.
All right, here we go. More of this.
Ow.
But that was message 2, and that's where it kind of came out, I believe, that it was David that was the target of this ire, and that left a lot of people questioning things. David Flair has kind of not been around wrestling, to the best of my knowledge, in a very long time.
Now that's the thing. Green Flair is apparently, he still lives in the Carolinas around Charlotte. He's got a recycling company there that recycles something of some description.
And apparently it's been there for a while. It's not like he just started this business yesterday and Rick found out about it today. This is an established business he has had for a while, I believe. And then the final message I have here, again, some were deleted. It's a picture of Rick smiling, just posing outside of an emergency room. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that, but who doesn't?
Doesn't everybody have a picture of themselves posing, smiling outside the emergency room of a hospital?
I mean, he needs an intervention. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Ric Flair needs an intervention because he is an alcoholic and a drunk at 77 years old. 76, I think he is. 76 or 77 years old. He needs an intervention. He's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's been an alcoholic for decades.
Right.
Going back to the 70s and 80s. Yeah, so it's not like this is new. Go ahead.
All right, more of this.
I contain myself. If you understood the health issues that I deal with and am currently dealing with, you would understand why I get frustrated in life with a lot of people. I'm sorry for the frustration.
I don't know how you have a fucking liver after all this. I mean, honestly, why does Ric Flair how does he have a liver still?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he was in the emergency room. Because the fucking liver is failing.
Yeah.
He needs a liver transplant. No, Flair, no, we don't understand anything you're going through because you're always fucking drunk all the time. And I don't know how your liver has not caved in or exploded by now.
Yeah.
All right, more of this.
I'm taking time to focus on my health. And that was the
yeah, you're focusing on your health in between drinks. And alcoholic stupors and alcoholic tweeting. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're taking time for your health. Right, sure, okay, Flair. Woo boy.
Is any of this, Jim, necessary on social media?
I don't know. And it's hard not to talk about it when everybody's talking about it. But at the same time, I feel bad at this point because I don't know if Rick understands how he has come off to people for the past however long that this has been going on. From the Egyptian to everything. Normal people don't get in this many public issues with other people, whether it be strangers, friends, or family members. And this has been regular. And I don't think he understands what people he could read the comments and understand what they're thinking, but I can't imagine he's reading the comments and still doing the things that he's doing that people are commenting on. But it's sad. I hate to see this. I don't enjoy it because of what I've thought of Rick in the past and as a talent and a person. But it's just, he's bringing it on himself.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of the messages was also, the relationship was gone 9 years ago. I'm sorry and sad that it has come to this. I've tried my best.
He doesn't see. The thing is, I have I have never liked Ric Flair, okay, as a person or as a wrestler. And he's doing this. He's actually, like Jim said, he's actually doing this to himself. He is literally airing his own dirty laundry about his health and about the relationship of him and his son. I'm surprised he doesn't go on a tangent about Reese. Reese passed away from overdose.
It seems like his relationship with Charlotte is kind of icy too. So he's doing this to himself, really.
Yeah, none of his kids want to be around him. The only reason why Conrad Thompson has anything to do with him is because he is the son-in-law who just wants the fucking money.
Yeah. And he's using Rick financially. And I've told him this straight up right before his final match when Rick had that tag match. And I'm like, dude, why is he still wrestling? Like, come on. I mean, you should, if you're really his guardian or protector, what do you want to call yourself? I mean, you need to get him out of the ring. Like, don't take advantage of him because of his name, which of course he would do. He got mad at me about it. So I think he blocked me. So.
Well, I don't think much of Conrad Thompson, because I think the only reason why he got married into that family is because he wanted the Flair money.
No,
he found out there was none, because Flair's been married 5 times and divorced 5 times, and all those alimony payments and child support he's had to pay over the years, I'm sure. I don't feel bad for Flair because he's doing it to himself, and I think someone made a comment of during that last match that I think Flair wants to die in the ring, and I honestly think
he does.
Yeah, he wants to go out and die in the ring, and I guess he thinks that's a warrior's way to go. It isn't.
Yeah, but so it seems like so is Mick Foley, because he's convinced Tony Khan to let him work one more match, and Foley can barely walk, and he has so many concussions that he probably has CTE, and he's going to get hit in the head a whole bunch more times. So,
I mean, he's crazy anyway. That dude would do anything. Yeah. He would take a bump off a cage into an announce table, and he went through. Even though it was a botch, it wasn't supposed to happen. He went through the fucking ring, the top of the ring. Remember when it collapsed?
Especially in '98, that ring was as hard as concrete. It didn't become more softer until Vince started bumping on it. He realized, holy shit, this ring's hard. I mean, soften it a little bit, but that ring was like concrete at that time. So it's
right. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Ric Flair needs an intervention. He is an alcoholic. And I mean, I'm trying to be as nice as I possibly can because I don't like Flair. I've never liked Flair as a person or a wrestler. So, I mean, I honestly think he's done this to himself. He's always done this to himself. So
yeah, and I could tell, and when Jim Cornette talks about Flair, he's always he holds back quite a bit because Flair gave him his big break as a booker, and Dusty gave him his big break as a manager. But as a booker, Flair gave him that break, which is why, he's always kind of stood by Flair, even though that's why he's kind of been not standoffish, but he kind of be careful what he says about Flair because he still has loyalty towards him. So he's
and Jim loves Charlotte Flair, and rightfully so. She's like her father in many ways, but what they've been sticking her in, I feel bad for her because I think they gave her a raw deal. I think if they put her by herself and make her a heel again, I think definitely she's gonna rock the house. But they misuse her. So and that whole thing with Ludwig Kaiser. Oh, I'm gonna fuck up this English kid. For what? He's not English. See, this is where he needs an intervention. He's gone off the deep end. He literally all he does is stutter. I could barely hear him in that interview he had.
Yeah.
So I was like, this dude needs an intervention. He needs an AA meeting or something because he's an alcoholic. And again, like you said, I don't know how his liver is held up for all these years because he would drink like a fish. All right, more of this.
Fix things over the years only to be rejected because your wife runs your life.
That's the one I saw. Yeah, but nobody knows this shit. I don't know this.
And
He's
stop
putting
airing
it out
it
there.
on
He's the
Twitter.
one
He's
putting it out
telling
there.
people.
Stop airing it on Twitter. We don't need to know this. I don't give a fuck what kind of relationship David Flair has with his wife. I'm hoping that it's a great marriage because he married her.
Yeah, he's been out of the business for over 20 years. I mean, why bring him up now?
Married, as far as we know. So let him go. Stop airing this dirty laundry. No one needs to know.
Flair is still hanging on to his wrestling persona. David is running a business apparently successfully too. So leave him alone. Like,
yeah, it's been. They said 30 some years now. So it's 3 decades. So I just don't get it. Like I swear, like he's either pissed off that David was not him, but there.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Joe wasn't Kurt. So I mean,
unfortunately,
the Shaft. But I mean, David.
Vince
He really had nothing to do with David Flair. Listen to Dutch Mantel talk about when David was in Puerto Rico, because Flair would skip dates. You give us David Flair, but you have to make your dates, and he would fucking fuck off.
Yeah, he wouldn't make his dates in Puerto Rico.
And David was like a flopping fish. He didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He was so green.
And Puerto Rico, here's the thing in Puerto Rico. I mean, it's no joke. You have to know what you're doing down there. Or at the very least, you have to have your dad who knows what he's doing in order to guide you to Puerto Rico. And he didn't have anything. He was down there, fish out of water. He didn't know any Spanish, and he's white. He's a white boy, so most likely going to be teased and beat up and stuff. So it's like very dangerous to work Puerto Rico, especially if you're white and you're by yourself, not knowing what you're doing on top of that. So,
well, and then they put him in WCW too fast. They'll talk about that in a little later in the segment, but David Flair was not ready for WCW, and they just kind of threw him in there and said, well, okay, now go be your dad. He's not his dad.
He had to find himself.
He's not Ric Flair.
He had to find himself, and he never did because they just basically forced him to be Ric Flair.
Right.
Then nobody would know there was any goddamn issue, good, bad, or indifferent, as Mama Cornette used to say, except you're telling on yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, David Flair never became a big wrestling star, but you had him for a brief time in OVW, right? What was he like?
Yes. Yeah. No, he's a nice guy. He
totally nice.
Wrestling wasn't for him. Not only the impossible
wrestling
task of living up to the standard that his father set, but he just wasn't a natural wrestler. But a lot of people aren't.
Well, and that's what, like I say, like Joe could have been the wrestler that Kurt was. I just don't think they gave him a chance because, again, the fathers always seem to set the highest bar, and Kurt was different than his father, but Joe was also different from Kurt. So I just don't think, and then I also think they didn't give David a chance either. They said, okay, David, now go find yourself, but they didn't really give him enough time to find himself.
No.
Right?
No, it was
ridiculous. Like, he was in the NWO. He turned against his father. His father went to a fucking mental institution. And these were the storylines. These were the storylines.
That was fucking Kevin Nash who booked Flair to go to a mental institution. It was ridiculous. Like, why is Ric Flair? Whatever, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I think really Nash didn't know what he's doing, so he's kind of desperately trying to figure out what to do with Flair. So it was like, I'm surprised Flair agreed to that. It's like Flair could have told Nash to fuck off, and nothing Nash could have done about it. So
right, yeah.
He only got horribly criticized and run through the ringer because he was used in WCW before he was ready, and then he got an opportunity because of who his dad was, but he didn't. He wasn't a prick. He didn't act like Tiger Ali Singh or somebody. He was a very humble guy and worked hard. It just wasn't for him, and he moved on, and he's doing other things. but Rick's mad about it. His son has a goddamn business of his own. Rick's mad about it. I don't know.
It would be
and you can't say,
mad at Joe.
I wasn't going to sue my son when you literally put out a tweet saying I have a $1,000 an hour lawyer just ready for this. But hopefully someone does take away his phone.
And you know what? We actually could point him in the direction of cheaper attorneys that could give him still full, so without paying $1,000 an hour. That's the thing. It's a status symbol to Rick.
I mean, was he bragging or complaining? I don't understand.
What lawyer charges $1,000 an hour? Unless you're like a Wall Street, like stuck up attorney. Is like no attorney's gonna charge you $1,000 an hour.
Yeah.
Like at most, you're looking at a couple $100 an hour, maybe $300 an hour at most, depending on how successful the attorney's been in the past. But not $1,000 an hour. That's crazy. And what did I say? I knew Flair, David Flair. Vince hired him briefly because of his dad, of course. Vince always respected Ric Flair, so he hired David and sent him to Jim in OVW, and he didn't last long. I mean, even Jim realized wrestling's not for him. He tried his hardest, but it just wasn't for him.
Sometimes not for him. Yeah, I mean, there's two kids that Kurt had 4 kids, but I mean, there's 2 kids that never entered wrestling, and Joe, he tried to, and they wouldn't give him the opportunity. And
first of all, when he debuted, they fucked him over with the Michael McGillicuddy name. He was dead. He was dead on arrival with that name. It was terrible.
So they really, with Joe, you can always say Joe had the talent, but they just didn't give him the opportunity because
Vince fucked him. They fucked him over. I mean, once he debuted with that name, he had no chance. Even once they changed his name to Curtis Axel, which was better, but it was just he was done. Once fans got the first impression, it's very difficult to dig out of that and get out of that. He never did.
Well, they wanted, what they wanted to name him? They wanted to name him Mr. Perfect Jr., which would have been even worse.
That would have been worse. Yeah. There's no way. I mean, imagine those vignettes. It's like just a copy and paste what his dad did. It was just terrible. It would have been brutal.
All right, a little more of this. Fire network.
Yeah, not hearing anything. I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, technical difficulties again.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything. You may have to. Yeah, you can do that.
Where the heck were we? Up here, I think. But I mean, to be honest, I guess that's it. That's all I'm going to share because it's not working.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, you get the point. Yeah.
I mean, you get the point. So, I mean, Ric Flair, or Flair, or whatever the hell his name is, Richard Flair.
Richard Flair, yeah.
Again, the dude needs an AA meeting because he is not. I don't know. He's so far, like you've been saying. I don't know how that dude has a liver. I honestly don't, because he's literally drunk all the time, and it's like he can't get through life without a beer. He can't go one day without a beer.
Look, unfortunately, my dad was an alcoholic from the age of 16 until right before his death, when he stopped drinking, and he had multiple heart attacks and just went at 52. So, yeah. I mean, alcohol. I mean, I don't know how Flair has the genetics to drink every day and live into his 80s, because he's right now about to be 80 soon. So, it's like he's just lucky. Some people can do that and live long. My father couldn't, so it's like it just sucks. Flair lives long and he didn't, so it's like, come on.
Yeah, I honestly, I hope he gets the help he needs, because right now he needs an intervention. Someone needs to call an intervention on this thing, because this is just not.
The issue is he's alienated nearly everyone that would care about him to do an intervention. So
that's true.
Yeah, so chances are nobody's gonna want to even even help him. So
they're just waiting around for him to die so they can have all the money. But he has no money. There's only debt, right?
He's debt. Excuse me. Yeah, he's only has pretty much debt. So, like, he has debt and he has his name. You can always sell Ric Flair merch for the rest of it and to make some of that money back. But what can you don't have much else,
So anyway, that was the horrible stuff I saw about Ric Flair. I think there's one more thing. How about it? You want to hear about Vince McMahon as a commentator? This is only like 5 minutes.
As long as it's not WWF footage. I mean, if it's just a podcast.
It's just a graphic and it's Jim Cornette.
Okay, let's see what it is. I mean,
hopefully it works.
The WWF footage is definitely get us copyrighted. I don't want that.
No footage. Nope.
Yeah.
This is just a graphic and them talking.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, Jim, let's get some questions here. This was sent via email to cornydrivethrough@gmail.com from Zane in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. How do you think Vince McMahon ranked as a commentator? I've heard varying opinions that when he worked for his dad, he had the talent to be the next Gordon Soley.
Oh, jeez.
But when he took over the WWF, he became unbearable unless he had someone strong like Jesse Ventura to work off of.
I tend to
What are your
agree.
thoughts?
Vince was a horrible wrestling announcer. During the time he worked for his father, it was okay because he had the voice and he was tall and had the. But he basically started, or at least widely perpetuated, a lot of the bad, corny wrestling announcer tropes that went on,
like what a maneuver,
the colorful suit and the hair and the kind of fake announcer voice that he did.
Not okay, pal.
And it wasn't like he didn't invent those. A lot of the other old time announcers and the AWA guys in the tuxedos and shit, that was cornball as hell.
Yeah, that was.
It was from the 50s, but he still called wrestling to the best of his ability, because that's what it was. When he became his own boss and became Vince, and
his father would not let him become a wrestler. Is that right?
No.
Vince Sr. did not want Vince Jr. to be a wrestler.
No. That's why he became the announcer, and he let him promote some small towns, but he never let him become a wrestler, which is Vince wanted to be. He wanted to be a wrestler. But eventually is I think it was Pat Patterson in the late 90s. It's well, I can't be a wrestler, and but you're the boss. You do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever.
I am the boss. Okay, I'm gonna get in the ring then. That's why he feuded with Austin.
We had the Austin McMahon feud, and other feuds with Triple H and stuff later.
Because Vince had his dad's in his head oh, you can't be a wrestler. You're not allowed to be a wrestler. So that's why he had that in his head for decades. Until Pat Patterson reminded him, hey, you're the boss. You don't need to have your dad's mentality. He's oh, yeah, I am. I'm going to get in the ring, pal. And that's how that started.
All right, more of this.
Tuesday Night Titans and Over the Top and the whole thing. Then it wasn't about calling wrestling. It was about being Vince and doing what Vince did. And every WWE announcer that has started there, been trained there, is like a little clone of Vinceisms or kind of Vince's demeanor.
Yeah.
When he'd get a Jim Ross, you could only customize Jim Ross so far. So he retained some identity. That's why he got over. But everybody else has been and he's going to the medical facility type of announcer.
I wish I could show I have pictures of it. I don't know. I don't remember if I got the video off of X or not, or Twitter. There was I think it's a great one, but I know Vince really adored Kurt as a commentator.
Yeah.
When they were in Hershey, PA, there's a video of Kurt wearing a Hershey, PA hat, with a Hershey Kiss and stuff. And Vince is trying not to laugh. Okay. He's trying not to laugh. Kurt's trying not to laugh either. He's it's a Hershey Kiss. I wish I could show that, but
depends. Yeah, you can't. It depends who liked Vince as a commentator. It depends. It depends who you grew up. Because if you grew up in the Northeast, listening to Vince every week on TV, you mostly like him. It's because me, I have a soft spot for Vince as a commentator. But because I grew up in the Northeast and I always heard him every week. So I was used to it and I liked it, even though now I look back and that's pretty brutal. What a maneuver! He didn't know the wrestling. He didn't know the moves. Like he barely like suplex. He may have known that, and or punches, but he didn't know the moves. That's why he's like, "Oh, what a maneuver!" And he would just say bullshit, nothing but bullshit, and telling stories about other things that went on in the show. Macho Man Randy Savage beat up Jake the Snake Roberts, and meanwhile there's a match in the ring with Ricky Steamboat and somebody else. So it's like you're not paying attention in the match.
Yeah, I like when they would make him laugh. Freddie Blassie. Oh yeah, Freddie Blassie. He's like, so what's different from Lower Mongolia than Upper Mongolia? He goes, one's higher than the other. And you see Vince, he can't help it. He just starts busting out laughing.
Yeah, as the heel commentator, he's not really supposed to be doing that.
You're not supposed to be laughing at it, but it was funny to him.
Yeah.
What was the other one? He had his own show. It was like a talk show host. And
Tuesday Night Titans. And Jornette just mentioned it. Yeah.
Bobby Heenan was on there, and it's like a 6-inch scar on his face, and they all are busting out laughing. They just think it's so funny. But yeah, as a commentator or like a host, you can't start doing that stuff. It was funny.
Yeah.
If
you grew up in the South, you like Golden Solie, or you like JR, ending of, where you watch the UWF or WCW, you like Gordon Solie. If you watch UWF, you like JR. So it depends on what part you grew up. And obviously they hated Vince, so it's like in his style of commentary. So it depends where you grew up, whether you like Vince or not. That's why Jim Cornette said he was terrible, because he grew up, in the South, and he hated Vince's commentary. So
well, and even when they had who was that guy on? I can't think of his name now, but they had him on the first few Raw tapings in Manhattan.
Manhattan. I know you're talking about. He was color with Vince,
and he actually. Vince wasn't on there, and he made fun of Vince. He actually dressed up as Vince McMahon and was talking like this.
Because Vince, he wasn't on commentary for the first few Raws. He eventually would take over Raw too. I guess because of what that guy did, he's like, "I'll do it myself, pal."
Yeah. So more of this.
Talking in a disingenuous way. Just it became the WWE style of announcing. It's one of the reasons why I've never been a Michael Cole fan, because
I hate Michael
he
Cole.
Still comes across as a guy performing as a Vince McMahon announcer.
Yeah,
more than a
fan. Because Michael Cole didn't know anything either. He was a sports announcer, right?
No, he was a news guy. He won a Pulitzer Prize.
Right.
Yeah, he won a Pulitzer Prize because he covered the original Iraq War, the first Gulf War. He was out there and covered it, which is why he won a Pulitzer. So he was an actual real journalist. He wasn't really a wrestling guy. And so Vince hired him, and he's been there ever since. And Vince trained him to be himself, basically. And that's what he does to this day. So
that's why I hate it. I hate Michael Cole.
Yeah.
Genuine human being calling what he sees.
He was never going to be anything like Gordon Solie, because Solie was so analytical and had his own gimmick. You couldn't customize Gordon Solie. That's what you got. But he had an incredible vocabulary and was analytical and wasn't an over-the-top personality, but at the same time could sell shit and made it seem real and authentic. And Lance Russell was folksy, and so was Bob Caudle. JR was the high-energy kind of, the Bill Watts style. Yeah. And now he drops down and oh my God, he's in jeopardy. Oh my God, they broke it. That type of dramatic type of shit. All the different announcers had their own styles, but Vince was unique in that he was never a good wrestling announcer. Sometimes he was a rotten wrestling announcer. Yeah. But he was the guy that he was Vince selling his product. He was the Barker. He was P.T. Barnum.
Right.
And everybody in the company has had to, in some fashion, remake that image.
I actually like the Vince McMahon pretending he's Howard Cosell working for his dad commentator. But it's really interesting if you think about who was before him and who would come after him. Ray Morgan was the person he replaced, and
Ray Morgan.
I was still hearing fans talk about Ray Morgan in the 90s.
Yeah.
He left an impact on him. They wish he hadn't left all those
What
years
happened with Ray Morgan was there was a show where he was drunk and he demanded more money for Vince Sr. So he obviously told him to fuck off, and he put his son on the announcer. He made Vince the announcer. He was there for decades after that. So that's the only reason why Vince got the announcer's job, because Ray Morgan demanded more money. I think he showed up drunk too to a show. So
I kind of like after watching the Portland stuff over and over again, I kind of like the Portland announcers when Kurt was in it. And then of course sometimes you had Larry. Oh God, I can't think of his name now, but and the guy for AWA. There was a Larry something or other.
I forgot his name. Yeah, the AWA main announcer.
But sometimes they would have Vern Gagne as an announcer. Yeah. So they would have Larry there
Vern
too.
wasn't. I didn't think Vern would be that good as a play-by-play guy. I mean, he's like okay. I mean, he didn't have the personality for it. I don't think. I mean, but he I'm sure he did it. But I don't know. I don't remember hearing him as a commentator. So I don't know. Maybe he was good, but.
Oh, I loved Kurt as commentator because he was just like he was in the ring.
Oh no! I mean, now Kurt was great.
Oh my God, the Hershey Kiss one! I wish I could show that to you. Honest to God, it is the funniest thing ever. He has his Hershey Kiss hat on because they're in Hershey, PA, which is like an hour from where I am. And I've lived like an hour from Hershey Park, PA. And I've been going to Hershey Park since I was 4 years old. So, I mean, he's like, it's a Hershey Kiss. And you can tell Vince is like trying to get off camera because he doesn't want to start busting out laughing. Yeah, but, I mean, that Kurt did that to make Vince laugh. And which is one of the reasons why Larry the Axe Hennig in his titlematch.com, please look that up, titlematch.com for YouTube. In his little blurb about Kurt, he said, Vince had come to Kurt's funeral and was just bawling.
Yeah, and that's the story that everybody tells. He was devastated at Kurt's death.
Yeah, I mean, we all were, but I mean, that surprised me when I heard that. That surprised me because I would think Vince would just be, melancholy and strong Vince.
Same thing happened when Andre died. When Boss died, I mean, Vince was devastated too. And when he did the Andre documentary, he couldn't even talk barely about Andre because he kept trying, so even to this day. So
I love Andre the Giant. I wish I could have met Andre because I always heard he was a good, a very nice, gentle giant unless you pissed him off.
Once you pissed him off, yeah.
And then you better run.
Yeah.
All right, a little bit more of this, and then we got to get going. So
yeah, we got to start wrapping up.
Lance Russell was an institution, but Dave Brown, Gordon Soley, even to an extent Freddie Miller, but you can go everywhere. Dick Lane.
I don't know who any of these.
They all had some kind of bond with the fans that Vince never had as a commentator.
Boyd Pierce.
No. There was something very impersonal, like very, I'm above it and I'm speaking to you and notwithstanding batten down the hatches. Just a whole subtle way of bullshittery that later on became just screaming at you, look at this, look at that.
I liked also Gorilla Monsoon. I thought Gorilla Monsoon had it,
That's
Bobby
another
Heenan
one.
Were like TV soulmates. I'm telling you.
That's another one. It depends who you talk to. A lot of people hate Gorilla Monsoon's commentary, and I'm like, it was great. Like, what are you talking about?
Again, loved it. I mean,
it depends. Again, it depends where you grew up. If you grew up in another part of the country, didn't really hear Gorilla, you hated it. I mean, you heard him the first time. So it was like, depends where you grew up. To me, Vince was, until very recently, as a kid, I liked Vince, and I liked Gorilla, but I mean, that's what I used to. Later, obviously, JR was awesome, but he's way better than Vince. So
and I would dare say Jerry Lawler, too. I like him and Vince were on Superstars because of Kurt. Of course, Kurt went back to the ring, so it wasn't Kurt and Vince anymore until like 94. Yeah, so it was Lawler, and Lawler's actually a good artist. He actually drew a picture of Dennis the Menace. And it was pretty good, but I wouldn't call Kurt Dennis the Menace. But I mean, he's like, that's Dennis the Menace? It looked like a gargoyle. That's what Vince said. So I started busting out laughing. I'm like, wow, that's a good one. It was like a jab right to Jerry Lawler, right? All right, a little bit more.
Which is why he can't speak anymore.
Yes, that's the fans didn't like Vince and didn't want to sit down with him, have him over to their house, be friends with him like they did with Lance or with Soley or with Freddie Miller or with Boyd Pierce or with all the people that you named and many more.
He looked like kind of like maybe enjoys a drink or two Mark Lawrence, early on. There was just no personality. There was just, I'm talking to wrestlers here and I show... Like, you didn't know anything about him. If you listen to commentary of the WWF and watch those old shows, you didn't know anything about the guy.
No.
No, he always...
That's why he didn't have a connection, I guess, with the fans.
It was a public persona. It wasn't him doing a job of announcing.
Right.
It was
like his own kind of like Vince McMahon character commentator.
I'm Vince McMahon alongside Jesse the Body Ventura, and he had the fake announcer's voice, and he had that very expensive haircut he always had, and he just looked like above it all. Like he wasn't really a wrestling fan. He's just like above it all, just calling what he sees in the ring, or telling stories about other matches that are not even in the ring right now. It's like okay, but that's not what's going on in the ring right now. He just didn't care. That's how he came across. It was more like, hey, let me sell you my business and let me tell you about stories that happened last week, which is what they do to this day. Michael Cole does that all the time. He talks about what happened last week during a match. Not paying attention to the match.
And
that's Vince style commentary.
Right. Talk about what's happening in the match, man. I don't give a crap about what other people are doing. So,
last week on Raw, we had Penta versus Ethan Page, and, and the match in the ring is like fucking Dominic Mysterio versus Jabroni X. Like, I guess that makes no sense,
Excuse me. Next week, I'd like to do James Romero, who also does interviews with Dutch Mantel and with Stevie Richards. He also talks about the Jenel Grant and Vince McMahon updates.
We would have to do it real quick because Alex is probably going to come on at 9. So, yeah, I would probably quickly preview, what's the name, Night of Champions, because it's the 27th, next Saturday. So, quick preview, and then we would do that until Alex comes on at 9. So
he also talks about Hogan's death. I guess Hogan, they did an autopsy on Hogan's body this week, and it's revealed how Hogan died. I don't know. I haven't watched the thing yet, so I don't really know how he died. I'm guessing of natural causes, but I'm guessing the reason why he's doing a report on it, it was not natural causes.
Yeah.
So, I just to wrap up real quick, I think that, like I said, some of the commentators in Portland and AWA, I tend to like them. I can't think of the guy's name, Larry something, but I tend to like those, even though like I'm watching them now as an adult. But I liked when they had Don Owens once in Portland Wrestling. I can't think of any of their names right now off the top of my head.
Don Owens worked Houston, I think, for what's his face, the promoter there for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I forgetting his name? The promoter there for years. I mean, Vince bought Houston and did wasn't that Paul Bosch? That's who it was.
Paul Bosch, okay.
He worked for Paul Bosch for years.
Hey, Vicky. All right, we're going to wrap up here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was some stuff about Ric Flair, of course, back in the media, and someone needs to intervene and take his social media away when he's drunk. Flair, you cannot drunk tweet anymore.
And so
you look like an idiot.
We're gonna start going. Make sure you check out Angel and Friends. I mean, we did change the name of the show.
It'll come naturally.
Yeah, eventually. And that's Friday at 7. And we'll be back here with you next Saturday at 8 for Pro Wrestling Talk, where I'll preview Night of Champions, and we'll do that James Morrow stuff. And then I assume Alex will be back by then, so he'll be on at 9. Assuming, because I don't know how long he's going to stay in Chicago, so yeah, he didn't really say how long he's going to stay. So I assume he'll be back in LA by Monday or Tuesday, unless he gets delayed at O'Hare again, or that's the airport in Chicago.
That would really suck. I mean, more power to you, little brother. I'm not going to fly around here. Not now. The plane might fucking, and I'll go down with the plane. Nope, not doing it.
that's that. Make sure you check out all of INN shows and the INN main channel. And, I'm the only one pretty much uploading content to the Ocho, which is this channel we're on now. I mean, Indian Reef do every once in a while, but yeah. So that's that. That's Pro Wrestling Talk. It's May.
So check out our
June,
content because it's going like hotcakes. Hotcakes.
yeah, May. It's June 13th, 2026. I'll see you guys next week for our shows. Have a nice weekend. Our rest year, nice week, nice weekend, nice weekend, nice week. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. Angel and Friends will air at 7 o'clock tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Friday. Can't speak.
Friday.
Let me just go
seven,
before.
pal.
Let me go for further make an ass out of myself.